Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Trails in the Sky, the third, part 45. In the previous video, we made it to the end of the Luminous Labyrinth. But before we go fight the boss, we are going to do some doors. Can we also do something else? I think we did the Gambling Jack door in the last video as well. You know, new day, new recording session. So we've got this star door, and then we can do the next level of the arena. We'll do the arena first. Now, do I need to have Zen with me? Or once we have opened it, do we not need to go back and have Zen for it? I really don't want to have to. It's already been opened. Open the door, step inside. Yes. Now it says we can access the next level. Is this true, or is this a lie? Okay, it's nice to see. Would you like to participate again? Yes, but not at the same level? Or do I have to redo... Do you think it's gonna make me redo the normal again before it lets us do the other one? Or do we have to do both? Or is it not... God, the art is so... It's so good. So if it makes us do both, like I will redo the normal if we have to. It shouldn't take that long. And we're a lot stronger than we were back then. Now I'm not gonna do it on screen. Not that crazy. Well, but first let's see. I mean, this seems to be the same as when the first round we did. Yeah, I believe this is the same. So what we'll do is we'll quickly run through this and see if you have to just beat the normal round first, and then it gives you the option to go again, or if we can't actually do the second round yet. I don't know. See you in a second. Okay, we won again. We have conquered the normal arena. It's very easy. Do we get to do the next level? Till then, farewell. Yes, but like I would like to do next. Oh. Maybe we come back with Zen. I'm a little confused, cause like you say, Grand Arena path has already been opened. Open the door, step inside. I mean, we did the first level. Maybe when it says the path has been opened, it just means we can act. Maybe we can't do it yet. I don't know. We'll come back and investigate it later. I guess we'll go do the Oliver side story. I do think we got another Fool symbol from beating a dude. We did. Did we do anything with that? What does the feather brooch give you? You like arts, art defense, a little bit of speed, agility, and movement. What does the Fool symbol give you? It gives you touch speed, lose some of your arts. Do you actually have a good arts because we got this weapon? I think it's something you can just... I can't remember if we found this in a chest or if we bought it. But it gives extra arts defense, or arts attack, which makes Ria's... She can do damage now with magic, which is good. I mean, she ain't no Rene with fucking 1900, but you know, she can hurt people a little bit. So art defense and speed. I mean, you get a lot of speed. Oh boy, you get a heckin' whole lot of speed. I mean, I don't really care about art defense. I think we just make you the fastest girl alive. I guess really, well, 50 speed, it sure is nice. Honestly, I don't really notice him going all that much faster with 124 speed, but I don't know. Maybe you just don't notice it because you ain't got it. I don't know. I don't know how we're supposed to do that next level. So we need to go back and get Oliver and I assume Muller. Hopefully there won't be a fight, because I really don't want to have to equip stuff. Oliver. And then you're not who I want. I want Muller. Oh, he's way down there. What is Renee's support? Out of curiosity. XP Sapith, that's pretty good. Well, not universally good, but wherever grinding, that's good. We did grind a very tiny amount off screen. This is the start of a new recording session. Played a little bit last night. What's the best analog to Zen? I mean, not Zen, Muller. I mean, 10 agility is like not really that much because your agility stat is usually very low, so 10% of it is not all that much. But let's go investigate this star door. Yo, we're almost halfway, right? 9, 10, 11, oh, okay, we're a little over halfway. We're halfway right now. We'll be over halfway when we finish this. At least with star doors. Playful minstrel and his closest ally. Open the door. Oh, absolutely. I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. Ooh, I'm excited to learn more about Oliver and Muller. Let's go. One month after the collapse of the Liber-Arc. The banquet to celebrate the Crisis's successful resolution, oh my god, I can't fucking read, was over, with Estelle and her friends having largely left the capital to go elsewhere. One of them, however, Prince Olivert Villa's-Honor, sat rather comfortably in the ambassador's office in Grancel's Erebonian embassy, while his work in the country not quite settled. His work in the country, dude, what the hell, dude? It's the first Trails video of the day. It's not the first video I recorded today. I did record the Persona 4 finale. That series is done, kind of. There's at least one more bonus video I'm gonna do, maybe two. That series is just take a mental guess of how many parts you think it is. Whatever it is, it's wrong. It's 113 parts with potentially 2 bonus videos that would bring it up to 115. The last like 2 videos are over an hour long. It's that's a fucking long ass game. I don't think I'm ever gonna play a game that long again. I mean, I knew it was a long game going into it, but I didn't realize that like the golden version added like 20 extra hours of content that made it even longer. I mean, my deepest apologies for not noticing that you were His Highness Prince Olivert sooner. This dude didn't know. I'm not surprised you never realized. I may be a prince, but my mother was a commoner. What point is there in bothering to remember my face? It's not as though I often showed myself in the palace or attended high society gatherings. I mean, lucky you're recognized at all, dude. I mean, knowing me certainly isn't going to help you in moving up the ranks, my friend. There's no need to be so humble, your highness. Besides, I'm actually rather grateful for you, Ambassador. You gave me all kinds of useful advice during my stay here at the embassy, and I'm sure will be to my benefit in the future. Okay, get it together. Get it together. Okay, so let's hydrate and read the words right. Well-meant words such as act like a man of the Empire for once in your life, and stop idling here, go home and try doing some damned work. Your Highness, Your Highness, I think you've tormented him enough for one day. The ambassador behaved in the same way any other sane man would in his position. If anything, I'd say he has every right to be angry at us for keeping the truth from him for so long. But Muller, I suppose you're right. I'll spare him any more teasing for now. I actually wasn't joking about being grateful to you, though. You really have done admirable work over the past month. I have? Acting as a pipeline with the Empire. I'm done. I've been defeated. The words, they're too powerful. Protecting the safety of Erebonians residing in Liberal, helping the international liner service to resume, and those are only the tip of the iceberg. You've done so much more. You have my deepest thanks as a prince of the Empire. I'm not worthy of such praise, Your Highness. You, however, deserve the utmost for braving the danger you did flying up to the Liber Arc. Hell yeah, you did. Although what happened seems to have caused quite the commotion in our homeland. So the people seem to be rather relieved now that they know the danger is past. It's all thanks to your courage that they were able to rest easy. Oh, there's no point in flattering me, Ambassador. I just did what I could, nothing more, nothing less. And I couldn't have done anything alone. All I was able to accomplish was thanks to the help of those around me. I'm fairly removed from the stereotype of Erebonians as stern, strong, and self-sufficient, if I do say so myself. As rude as it may be to agree, perhaps you're correct. And yet I believe your willingness to be flexible most definitely helped rather than hindered you here. I believe people like you are exactly what the Empire is going to need in the future. Regardless of how I may feel about His Excellency's Chancellor's approach, Ambassador, well, this is a surprise. I was under the impression that you supported the Chancellor. Then again, you are a noble. Does that lead you to oppose his reformist policies, perhaps? I may be a noble on paper, but I'm only a baron. All in all, I generally fall in favor of his reformist policies. Be that as it may, while this may just be the result of being in Liberal for so long and being influenced by the ways of its people, I do sometimes find myself becoming frightened by his hardline approach. Can't help but wonder exactly what direction he's trying to take our old nation. Interesting. Your Highness? Oh, I was just thinking that I'm glad to have taken the chance to engage in such fruitful talk with you before departing the country. I pray you will continue to do all you can to ensure the peace of Liberal and all its surrounding nations while I'm gone. Preferably in cooperation with Ambassador Cochrane. Yes, let's not forget her, I suppose. Still, it's true that since the non-aggression pact was signed, there has been some problems with regards to the crossbow problem, or progress in regards to the crossbow problem. And given that it was Liberal who proposed said pact, that makes my role in future negotiations very important indeed. I presume that is what you're trying to say? You're a sharp one, my good man. Excellent. Now I can return to the capital with my mind at ease. Leave everything here to me, Your Highness. I'll be looking forward to hearing what you achieve back in our homeland. This truly is a country like no other. I never thought the day would come when I would hear such things like that from a noble of the Empire. Indeed, he's apparently somewhat less of an obstinate man than I thought he was. Perhaps his nation's very air has the power to genuinely change people. It seems to have had an effect on you too. I feel as though I'm seeing a lot more smiles from you these days than I'm used to. I'm loath to admit it, but that may well be true. I still find myself wishing that you had learned from Liberian's dignity and sense of restraint, however. Two qualities you don't particularly possess in any measure. In fact, you may have far too much of their opposites. You say that, but these qualities are the only weapon that I have. I don't have much that will allow me to compete against the Chancellor. I need to use what little happens to be tucked in my own quarter as best as I can. Have there been any changes to our plans? None. We should be able to proceed as arranged. 3 days ago, the Chancellor left the capital on the tour of Eastern Erebonia. Tomorrow, you'll be returning there aboard the Grancel while he's still out of east. All of those who need to be aware of our return have been given proper notice. Your arrival in Erebonia will make a real impact, of that I am certain. What potential obstructions to the plan are there at present? Nothing major. There have been some movements in the Intelligence Division's 4th subdivision, but not much. There's a chance that everyone is being cautious because the Grancel is involved, but I'd put greater odds on the idea that everyone is just treating this like a pompous performance by you and not taking it seriously. Well, they'd be right to, it is. I have no choice but to start here, and even if it means I have to use Liberal. And I'm going to put on a show. Why not put on one of the finest ones the skies have ever seen? I suppose I can't argue with that. Sorry to trouble you at this late hour, Your Highness. A message has arrived to you from Heimdallr? Uh, what will you have me do? Heimdallr? Heimdallr? I don't know how you would say that. Well, if it isn't Lecter. Oh, it's you, dude! It's dude! I was wondering where you'd been. I hadn't seen you all day. Yeah, it's Close, the student council president. I've been exceptionally busy with work since this morning, I'm afraid. I was told that he was in another star door. I wonder if this is what being alluded to. Secretary Lecter. I'd hoped to be able to come and see you early since you were leaving tomorrow. I'm terribly sorry for not being able to. Oh, never mind that. If that work of yours is done now, we three could always enjoy some sensual quality time together for the remainder of the night. Well, what was the message from the Capital Secretary? They've acknowledged receipt of His Highness's message. However, they didn't anticipate that you may be able to arrive all the way from Grancel in less than half a day. As such, they're currently in a minor panic trying to ensure everything's ready for the ceremony tomorrow. And that doesn't come as a surprise. It's nothing like the aerosol when it comes to speed at home. How cruel you both are for so deftly ignoring my proposal. Although it sounds as though the stage will be set in time. I need to decide on an outfit that will leave everyone's jaws on the floor to sweep my arrival. Perhaps a glistening coat and white loincloth will do the trick. Oliver, please. There may be children there. That'd make a grand impact, alright. I almost wish I could go along and see it myself. Please don't encourage him. You show remarkable promise for someone so young. You decided coming back on the air cell with me. I'd welcome your company. Your work here in Libreville is just about done as it is, isn't it? Your offer is certainly tempting, but I'm afraid I have another job to take care of soon. Thought is appreciated, of course. Really? Well, that is a shame. Good luck with that next job of yours. Thank you. Well, if you'll excuse me. So that is the second secretary Lecter Arundo? It's safe to assume he's one of the chancellors? Almost definitely, yes. He came through a con gate on foot and took up his new position at the embassy a month ago. Right around the same time we headed to the Liber Arc aboard the aerosol at that. There's no way that could possibly be a coincidence. No, it couldn't. Most likely possibility seems to be that he's part of the intelligence division. So he could be a spy? Maybe him being in the academy was like a cover? Are you sure you're not doing anything regarding him all this time was a good idea? Oh, absolutely. We need some way to find out what the Chancellor was up to after all. We'll probably get some kind of reaction from the Chancellor through his reports at some point. Probably in about 2 weeks when the Chancellor's tour is finished. Planned that far ahead all along, had you? Well, in that case, I'm sure that we're ready. I'll be sure that we're ready. I'll be counting on you too, love. Oh. Something the matter? Not really. It's just that the moon has come out. What a beautiful full moon it is. Man, ain't it a beaut. Strange to think this will be the last time we'll see the moon from here. Truth be told, I'm going to miss it. Well, well, it looks like putting a smile on your face a little more often isn't the only thing Libreville's done for you. It's opened your eyes to life's natural beauty as well. But in all seriousness, we'll just have to do all we can to be able to come back and see it again one day. While we're both still alive. Indeed. The next morning. Okay, I was gonna say that seemed a little early. The ending it. Hello. Your Majesty, Your Highness, I humbly thank you both for your generous hospitality during my stay in your fine kingdom. You were even gracious enough to humor my brazen request of escorting me back to Heimdallr aboard the aerosol. This debt I owe you will be repaid many times over in the future, rest assured of that. Oh, you needn't think of this as anything we went out of our way for. Escorting an honored state guest back home is a matter of course, particularly a guest to whom we owe a great debt of gratitude. If you ever have the opportunity, please do come back to Libreville again in the future. I imagine Estelle and Joshua will be back by then too. So we'll all be able to give you a nice, warm welcome. Oh, I'm already excited for my next visit. Have they left the country yet, by the way? They're getting ready to leave over in Roland at the moment, I believe. I'm planning to see them off when the time comes. So I wonder if that'll be a side story. Them leaving. Incidentally, while the ruins of Hamel are currently sealed off, I'll do what I can on my end to ensure they are allowed inside. Can I trouble you to pass that along to them? Certainly. Thank you very much, Your Highness. Oh, think nothing of it. It's the least I could do after all they've done for me. I owe you a great deal too, Cassius. Not for your assistance, stopping that armored division from crossing into Liberal wouldn't have been as simple as it was. I could say the same to you. Still, as though I'm sure you're aware, the outcome will have been well within the realm of possibility for the Chancellor. I doubt he was even surprised by the incident. Really? Most likely not. Erebonia had nothing to gain from using that situation to occupy Liberal. Certainly not to the extent that it would be worth going out of their way to develop inefficient steam tanks. The only reason I can see for him doing what he did was show of power to surrounding nations, a statement that even without orbital power, Erebonia's army can still act. Yeah, I indeed suspect that was his true aim all along. Goodness. So you did notice. The orbital shutdown phenomenon was a complete unknown to the rest of the continent. Perhaps it might never occur again, but there's always the chance it might, whether it's here or somewhere else entirely. I hear the Empire only built a relatively small number of tanks in all too, certainly not enough to launch a full-scale invasion. By the sounds of it, they were just put together in Renford factories using parts intended for standard orbital tanks. But as it stands, the know-how to put together tanks like that only exists in the Empire. And in these unpredictable times, no other nation has the time or resources to try and develop extremely inefficient steam-powered weaponry. In a sense, because of what happened, the Imperial Army's effect as a deterrent is even greater than ever. Using war as a diplomatic tool, and very effectively at that. None of this had even occurred to me. I have a long way to go before I'm fit to be the ruler of this country. Don't beat yourself up too much about it. He's no ordinary foe to even the most hardened veterans. The Chancellor always seems to be thinking several steps ahead of the rest of the world. It's impressive no matter what you may think of his actual ideas. I'm quite the reckless fool to be trying to challenge him if I do say so myself. Don't be silly, Your Highness. How can you say that with a smile on your face is utterly beyond me. You should focus on building yourself a strong foothold to begin with. I do hope you'll be careful. No matter what may occur, be sure not to lose sight of exactly where you stand. Of course, Your Majesty. If I were to go and bring shame upon myself now, I'd be wasting all the effort involved in escorting me back home. I'll be sure to take what you have said to heart. Excuse me, Your Majesty? Oh, it's a maid lady. Hilda? Whatever is the matter? Not often I see you so flustered. My apologies, Your Majesty. It's just that a guest for you arrived all of a sudden at the castle. Ordinarily, I would have not rushed in while you were meeting with others, but the visitor is so irregular that I thought you should know at once. Irregular? How so? It sounds like it's about my time it sounds like it's about time that I take my leave then. Actually, the visitor said he would like to greet you as well, not just Her Majesty. What? Hilda? Just who is this visitor? Well, is it? He introduced him. Yeah, it is. He introduced himself as Chancellor Goliath Osborne of the Erebonian Empire. Are we finally going to see the man himself? The man, the myth, the legend? Well, younger than well, he's a little bit younger than I would have thought. I kind of expected to be like an old dude. It's an honor to be granted a personal audience. I am Goliath Osborne, representative of the Imperial Government. My apologies for the abrupt intrusion. So you are Chancellor Osborne. The Heart Osborne? The Heart? It's a pleasure to see you again as well, Your Highness. It's been a year since we last met, has it not? I hope these passing months have seen you well. Yes, a year sounds about right. Still, while I hope you'll forgive me for asking, just what did prompt someone of your stature to appear at the castle without warning? I'd very much like to hear your side of the story. My apologies, Your Highness. You see, the past few days I've been touring Eastern Erebonia on routine inspections. It's been going very smoothly, more so than I had initially anticipated. I had enough free time in my schedule to pay a cordial visit. Oh my, is that so? Naturally, I would have preferred to come here while the crisis was still unfolding like you yourself did, Your Highness. Unfortunately, the confusion in southern Erebonia was simply too pressing a matter, and I had no choice but to deal with that first. This was the first chance that presented itself to come here and meet directly with Her Majesty, so I acted with the utmost expediency. I hope you'll forgive my lack of proper decorum in failing to give advance notice of my arrival. That does make sense, at least. Regardless, please don't concern yourself with me. No doubt you wish to offer your greetings to Her Majesty. My thanks, Your Highness. Well then, allow me to extend my most heartfelt greetings to both of you, Queen Alicia and Princess Claudia. It's abundantly clear that the crisis that unfolded here has been quite the ordeal for yourselves and your nation's people. You have my deepest sympathies for the hardships you have endured, as well as my commendation for bringing the situation under control. I thank you for your kind words, Your Excellency. If anything, we should be apologizing to you for the fact that the southern side of your nation was caught up in what should have been our problem. We should be the ones going to you, rather than having you trouble yourself to come all the way to Liberal. I beg you to accept our apologies together with the deepest thanks for coming here. Dude, this is so fucking, like, diplomatic bullshit. They're all being all nice to each other while they're planning to send Oliver over there to overthrow him. I would never ask for apologies. I heard what happened was the work of a shadowy organization stirring up trouble within your borders. Yeah, that you have no idea who that shadowy organization could be. Well, I mean, meant well by sending a military force to aid you. I wouldn't have done something so careless had I known the truth of the matter. My actions were rash, foolish even, and I was rightfully reprimanded by His Imperial Majesty for them. Oh my. Fortunately, His Highness the Prince was able to act with all due haste to put right my misstep before even greater harm was done. I owe you a great debt of gratitude for that one, Your Highness. Congratulations aside for your part in bringing an end to the crisis. Oh, I did nothing out of the ordinary. I had a lot of help from Her Majesty, Her Highness, and Brigadier General Bright here too. Like, can Cassius not just stab this man? And we'll be done with it? We'll not have to worry about Erebonia anymore? I'm sure they won't be mad about us murdering the Chancellor. Bright, you say? It's a pleasure to meet you, Your Excellency. I am Cassius Bright, a Brigadier General in the Liberian Royal Army. The pleasure is all mine, I assure you. Your name is rather well known even in the Empire. Not as much as yours is known here in Liberal, I would imagine. It's an honor to be able to speak with you in person. It's certainly a surprise to be able to, though. Coming here on a whim can't have been easy for a man as busy as yourself. It sounds as though I may have underestimated just how capable you truly are. Not at all. I was greatly impressed to see the Royal Army's effectiveness in dealing with the tumult here. Your forces have been proven powerful, yet flexible, capable of dealing with emergencies, ably and decisively. I might go so far as to say it embodies an ideal that the Imperial Army, with its swollen ranks, could never hope to realize. Flatter us, Your Excellency. For your part, I hear you are responsible for the establishment of the Imperial Army's famed intelligence division. Our army's in desperate need of a new one of its own, so I found myself quite envious. It almost sounds as though the two of us each want what the other has. So it does. May I ask, Your Excellency, what will you be doing now? For my part, intending to leave Liberal today, so I'm afraid I won't be around for much longer. Yes, so I've been told. I believe you're intending to make your grand arrival at Heimdallar aboard the famous Grancel. I'm impressed you're already aware. I almost wish I could return to Erebonia on board it alongside you, but alas, I'm afraid I have other business demanding my attention after I'm finished here. I'll be leaving Liberal separately this afternoon. That is a shame. I would have very much liked to invite you to this evening's banquet. Please, you need not go to such troubles on my account. I feel as if though I've put you out enough showing up unannounced as I did, to say nothing of dining with such esteemed company. Still, I do have some time before the airship I'll be leaving on is due to depart. That being the case, I might be able to ask a little of your time, Your Highness. I have a few things I'd like to discuss with you personally. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't even think about that. I mean, Close should recognize Lecter. Very well. I have some matters I would like to discuss personally with you as well. What a fortuitous coincidence. Allow me to have a room arranged for the two of you to have your discussion then. Hilda, if you would. Certainly, Your Majesty. Tea time. Ah, it's obvious that Her Majesty is quite the tea fancier if this blend is anything to go by. The fragrance, the temperature, the taste, I'd be hard pressed to find fault with any of it. I've always been more of a coffee man myself. Yeah, hell yeah, brother. But I have no doubt that I'd be content with a cup of this in my desk each morning. As much as I agree with you, I don't believe we're here to talk about beverages. So shall we get right to the point? What did you want to discuss with me? I see your sojourn in Libreville has proven most fruitful. Pardon? When we last spoke, you struck me as a bright, flexible young man, and no doubt you still are, but now I see your resilient inner strength girding those aspects. I'm sure His Majesty will be most delighted with this pure personal development. Meanwhile, I see you're the same fearless man I've always known you to be. More so even, that crushing aura about you seems to have only grown with time. It's as if you feed on the resentment of those who live in the territories you annex. Such harsh words, Your Highness. Personally, I prefer the term political unification. Annex can carry such negative connotations, you know. Since the end of the 100 Days' War, our army hasn't committed a single act of aggression. All of our unifications have been entirely peaceful. Yeah, sure. Join our company. Join our country, or else. Sure would hate to invade you with all of our tanks. Just kidding. ... Unless you're quite right about that. On the surface. Oh. It's amazing how similar the annexation process is every time it happens. It starts with a small nation or independent state with an array of problems beyond repair. Ooh, do you think Ouroboros destabilizes them? Those problems start to worsen, after which Jaegers and other dangerous elements enter, plunging public order to an all-time low. Desperate for a solution, the local government requests the help of the Imperial Army, or you know it, they're part of the Empire. Well, it's not as though I can deny what you're saying. Each instance does share certain commonalities. Still, it's to be expected, an inevitable consequence of the age of unchecked growth and progress in which we live. The Imperial Army is simply acting in the Empire's best interest, helping to stabilize our neighbors for the good of the Empire. Yeah. And it's understandable that they would. I do find myself rather curious why Intelligence Division members are going to such nations with such peculiar frequency. Well, before the problems I described worsen, no less. Well before the problems I described worsen, no less. I won't press as to where you came by such information, as curious as I am, but I will say this. At its most basic level, its actions are about risk management. It's because we've been acting to minimize such risks beforehand that the army has been able to successfully quell each problem in turn. Yeah. With the small price of earning the disdain of the people in those nations and an increased risk of terrorism in exchange. To tell you the truth, I'm rather astounded that you had the courage to come here to Libreville, all on your own to begin with. Honestly, Cassie should have just fucking stabbed him. After all, you've earned yourself the biggest target for terrorists in all of Erebonia. Your concern is touching, Your Highness. I would ask that you not trouble yourself with my safety. I employed some very skilled subordinates tasked primarily with eliminating the risk of terrorist attacks on me. I wonder who those could be. Really now. That Lecter's one of them, I assume. A rather peculiar fellow, isn't he? But a very useful one all the same. Oh, so is Lecter like a secret badass? Working out the scheduling for this trip and taking all the necessary precautions to ward off terrorist threats were both his doing. And thanks to his commendable efforts, I can depart for Crossbell free from worries as soon as I finish my business here. Crossbell, eh? Crossbell? Are you surprised? I'll be participating in a top-secret discussion with the representative of the Crossbell government. Ooh, are they going to try and annex them? Recently, a large amount of funding has been flowing into the country through Republican channels, putting our allies on the defensive. I've always been to visit at some point, and this seemed the perfect opportunity. Are you out of your mind? Crossbow is full of enemies and different factions at each other's throats. I hear it's even now a hotbed for terrorists and criminal organizations because of the position as a buffer state. But I'm excited for the Crossbow games. They're making this place sound quite interesting. Does that really sound like a place the Erebonian Chancellor should be going even on an unofficial visit? I'm surprised to hear you advocating caution in the face of potential danger, Your Highness. After all, it was you who flew into an ancient city at great risk to your own safety and returned unharmed after surveying it. Compared to such rousing risk-taking, my visit to Crossbow would be child's play. As I'm sure you're aware, you're regarded as something of a hero back in Erebonia now, so they gotta have like a PR battle to rally the masses. To see a hero make a grand return befitting his newly minted legend and aboard the famous Grancel no less. Naturally, our hero has also taken the time to ensure that every well-known newspaper and magazine is aware of his homecoming too. Oh, I have no doubts that your triumphant arrival will be every bit as glorious as it played out in your imaginings, Your Highness. Do be sure to capitalize on this chance as best you can to build a firm foothold. I expect great things from you after all. Hello? Heck his eyes out. Get him, Zeke. Scree. Hey, buddy. You haven't changed a bit, huh? Scree. Scree. Really? Sounds like a ton's happened, huh? But it's nice to see you and your master doing alright. Scree. Lecter? Hello. Well, good day to you, Your Highness. I pray I'm not causing any trouble by taking a tour of the castle like this. View from this terrace certainly is beautiful, isn't it? What happened to you, Lecter? How did you end up working for Chancellor Osborne? I'm sorry, I haven't the faintest idea what you mean. Are you perchance mistaking me for someone else? Name is Lecter Arundel. You're the student council president at Genis Royal Academy, which you attended before leaving suddenly 2 years ago. So no, I'm not mistaking you for someone else. But that's where you're wrong, because my name is actually Lecter Arundel. I can certainly see how our names could be mixed up, however they are scarily close. Still, now you know. Please just call me Lec. Don't try and jerk around with me, Lecter. You have any idea how worried all of us were when you disappeared without a word? You submitted your notice to leave the academy and then were never seen again? Even the otherwise calm Leo let out a cry of anger when he found out. And all Lucy could do was give a sad smile and say, this is just like him, the whole time with tears in her eyes. Jill and Hans were heartbroken and so was I. Yet after that? After all that time you finally show yourself, knowing full well that I'm here, and this is how you act, by pretending you're someone else? Lecter! Sorry, no need for the scary glare. You're still taking things way too seriously. Looks like it'll take more than stepping up as a crown princess to change that part of you. Oh? But you know, being you makes me feel kind of relieved. I always figured if someone like you became crown princess, you'd have virtually no freedom to do anything other than work. But from all that's reached my ears, it sounds like you're actually doing alright for yourself. You even made some great new friends after I left the academy, didn't you? Nice. I sure did. Nonetheless, it's thanks to you that I was able to change it all. You're the one who gave me the first push in the right direction. I never got the chance to thank you properly after you left. But all this time I've been grateful to you. Well, consider me honored. Do I get a kiss in return? Do not? I may feel respect towards you, but nothing romantic. That's a bummer. If it was me, all taken in by how pretty you'd become, wondering if this could be the start of something downright magical. And what happens instead, my dreams of romance and sweet smooches are crushed to nothing before they can even begin. I know you don't mean a word of that, you know. You're looking very sharp yourself, though. It's very surprising to see. Every time I've seen you before today, it was in that heavily frayed uniform worn in the most sloppy way imaginable. I think you'll find I was merely making a fashion statement. That wasn't laziness or slobbishness. Every part of it was carefully calculated and considered to have a maximum effect. The scary thing is, I actually believe you. You always seemed as if you cared for nothing but having fun and causing trouble. Yet when it came down to it, you were wise beyond your years. I've finally seen part of the reason behind that today. I'll ask you again, Lecter. How did you end up working for Chancellor Osborne like this? Just what happened to you between submitting your notice to leave the Academy and now? I mean, we don't necessarily know he wasn't working for the Chancellor in some regard the entire time. Do you now? I have to admit, I never imagined that would be the case. On the contrary, I was expecting you to tell me to back off. Oh, Audius forbid, what reason could I have to suggest such a thing? After all, at the end of the day, our positions are functionally the same. I'm not sure I understand. Do you not think so? Personally, I find it difficult to believe that you would not harbor some hatred towards Erebonia as it is today. A grand empire clinging to the glories of a bygone era, ruled by the nobility and shackled by meaningless conventions? Am I wrong? People call me the Blood and Iron Chancellor, as though I hold the whole of Erebonia in the palm of my hand. But in reality, my position is far more tenuous. I have supporters and allies in the capital, certainly, but outside its walls, the nobility hold far more sway than any of them. And while it is true I hold a great amount of power in the form of the Imperial Army, even then I only command about 70% of it. The remainder is loyal to the nobility, who all maintain their own private armies, with those factored in, my advantage shrinks substantially. So you see, I'm still very much in the midst of a battle to truly exert control. Which is why you're building railways all over the country to expand your area of influence. And you've been annexing new territory to that same end. As I've long thought, you clearly understand me better than anyone else. And they're really going with the freaking Wilhelm stuff. Like, it's not just like a sneaky reference. It's like he's following the playbook. That is why I'll say this once again. Work with me, Your Highness. With your support, our nation will be able to bring about real reform faster than ever. The noble faction, bloated with its centuries of decadence, can be stopped before they even have the chance to unify against us. Surely that's what you desire more than anything. Let me just ask a simple question, Chancellor. What connection do you have with Ouroboros? I'm afraid I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I will say this, however. I'm a firm believer in using every resource at my disposal in the name of achieving reform. And that's why you're dangerous. That's why you're scary and we can't work with you. That's the way I believe in handling politics. I see. Well, it does seem as though we would be eye to eye in many ways. That's all the more reason why I'm afraid I must refuse your offer. Is that so? Yes, I find it difficult to like the rotten noble faction that exists in the Empire. Or perhaps you're right, that hate is a more appropriate word. My feelings of fear towards your methods are far greater than my feelings of hatred toward the nobles. What you seem to be doing is trying to compel Erebonians with a delusive utopia to whip them into an enthusiastic frenzy. No doubt by successfully convincing the people the old guard will fall into the metaphorical firestorm created. And yet by then the gears will have already begun turning. There will be no satisfying a aroused populace with a thirst for revolution. And the storm will keep on growing larger and more ravenous, engulfing everything in its wake. Anything and everything. I think I said everything twice. You know this, don't you, Chancellor? But of course. After all, that's what I intend to happen. It's the first stage of my reforms. I'd be more than happy to share further details with you if you were to decide to work with me, Your Highness. In the meantime, I wish you well in strengthening your foothold back in the Empire. Of course, if that's your intention, you'll find it a necessity to work with those nobles you so despise. You truly do see through everything, don't you? Well, that sounds like the noon bell. The airship should be arriving shortly. Which means it's time for you to take my leave, I'm afraid. I look forward to seeing you again in the capital in 2 weeks' time. What's up, Muller? We should probably end the video. We're at 45 minutes. Take it the discussion is over then? What's wrong? You look awfully tired. Oh, nothing. I'm just feeling awed at what a monster I decided to pick a fight with. This should be the end though, right? Okay, JK. Oopsie, I think it's about time for the airship to arrive. I'm gonna have to stop you there and get going. What? See ya, see. Next time I see you, I'll bring you some Erebonian salami as a souvenir, okay? Scree. Wait, are you planning to just disappear without telling me anything a second time? That seems to be his MO. Oh, got an important question for you. You fall in love with someone while I was away? Hit the nail on the head, huh? That's so cute, first love, right? How's that feel? Heart all flutter 1 minute, into the world the next? Don't you dare start teasing me. But you're right, though. I did. He rejected me in this very spot not that long ago. Wait, you're joking, right? There's a coincidence I didn't see coming? I'm not so sure about that. It feels like you know everything sometimes. I'm not some kind of all-knowing, all-seeing divinity. That's what makes the world so interesting to me. Oh? I'm happy for you, Chloe. Knowing the pain of lost love is what makes a girl blossom, in my humble opinion. You feel like the whole experience lets you get a step closer to the person you want to be? Well, what about you? Do you feel you're getting closer to becoming the person that you want to be? By being at the Chancellor's side? Kinda hard to do that when I don't have a person I want to be to begin with. I'm just sticking with him because it feels like it'll be fun. That's all. I've been doing it since before I joined the academy, in fact. Have? That prince is proving surprisingly capable, but he still isn't a match for the Chancellor. Tell him to watch his back, alright? So that he doesn't get swallowed up by that monster after he gets tired of dancing. Bye, Lecter. Siege should definitely claw his eyes out. He might be a threat in the future. So while we're close to the end, I will go ahead and cut things here so that the video doesn't end up over 50 minutes. I mean, we're very close. We'll just wrap up the very end of this in the next video, and then I guess go fight the boss of the plane, probably. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part, and bye, guys.